Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. It was very clear from the onset when the former Muranga governor, Mwangi wa Iria, joined Raila's side that there was going to be a rift and palpable tension between him and the deputy president, Gachagua. The situation was aggravated when Mwangi wa Iria informed the local police that he wanted to host Raila Amolo Odinga for a town hall meeting. And Rigathi Gachagua's antenna was high. He immediately informed the police boss, Mr. David Matthew, not to allow any such meetings. And the Muranga Security Council sat down and declared that Raila was unwanted in Muranga County, that if he had to attend, he was going there as a visitor, but not to attend any political meeting. But the different Mwangi wa Iria sent a chilling warning, and he said that there was nothing that was going to deter them from holding their meetings. It was also very clear that William Samoei Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua were reading from different pages as far as this meeting was concerned. While Rigathi Gachagua had maintained a very strong stand that Raila was unwanted in Central Province in Mount Kenya, William Samoei Ruto had a soft landing and he wanted this meeting to take place. Rigathi Gachagua was afraid that Raila would take political mileage when he goes there, and if there is something that Rigathi does not want to hear or see, is a situation where Raila is received well in Mount Kenya, because he had told Mount Kenya that all the predicaments that the Mount Kenya residents are going through are as a result of Raila's relationship with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and that Raila convinced Uhuru to neglect that region despite the fact that they overwhelmingly voted for Uhuru Kenyatta. So he did not want this meeting. But it appears that Raila Amolo Odinga defied all the threats by the police, and his motorcade rolled and roared in that land, and the police was nowhere to be seen. All the intimidations did not work. Some were joking around that the police boss vanished and fainted in front of Raila's presence. But have you ever asked yourself why they allowed Raila to conduct such a meeting even after issuing threats that Raila was a persona non grata in that region? Because it is crystal clear that William Ruto did not want to hear anything to do with any interference because of what he had seen in the last demonstrations. One was because of the pressure from the local residents. You see, the people of Mount Kenya have had enough of fallacy from Rigathi Gachagua. Anytime the government is unable to implement its promises, anytime the government faces some difficulties concerning the promises that they gave to Kenyans, Rigathi Gachagua would always mention Uhuru Kenyatta and blame the previous government. But Uhuru Kenyatta had warned them before, and now they are realizing that they were cheated. In fact, as we speak, there are certain members of Mount Kenya, elected members, who are rooting for one man, 1 shillings, 1 vote, something that Uhuru took to them, to their doorsteps. But William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua convinced them and persuaded them that the BBI was bad. They rejected it. Now they are realizing that they have to come back to it. And several promises that they were given are not implemented. And so they are tired, sick and tired of this administration. So they had piled pressure that they wanted to meet Raila Odinga. And if they had refused and declared this meeting cancelled, there was going to be running battles between the police and their locals. And this is something that William Ruto was not ready for. The other thing is that already the bipartisan talks had begun. William Ruto does not want anything that would stop that meeting, because Raila Amolo Odinga had said that They would be talking, but the meetings will be going on. And Raila would use this as a precursor to telling them that you are not really serious with these talks. Because if they had unleashed the police to try and interfere with the Raila rallies, Raila would have accused them of interfering with something that is within the constitution. And Raila would definitely call off the bipartisan talks, because all hopes, Ruto's hopes, are in that meeting. He hopes that it will be a give and take, that Raila will decide to at least abandon some of the heavy demands that he has placed against the government. So he's really guarding these bipartisan talks, and he knew very well that if he played any mischief, then this meeting will hit a snag, and that will take people to square one. And that is the reason why he really instructed the police to allow Raila to continue with the meetings. There is also a letter to the ICC, a letter that had accused the government of unleashing police brutality to innocent and peaceful demonstrators. Even though Rigathi Gachagua is speaking tough and is telling the Inspector General IG Koome not to be cowed, not to be intimidated, the truth is this letter is a thorn in their flesh, because that letter has mentioned facts, things that were caught on camera, interference with the journalists, hitting Raila's car with 9 bullets, people who are nursing injuries in hospitals, and those innocent Kenyans who were killed in the process, including one of their own colleague, a police officer, who was run over by their own vehicle, and instead of admitting to the public that it was an accident or something, they decided to hoodwink, to cheat people that this police was killed by a mob in Kisumu. So these are facts that can be traced, and William Ruto knew very well, because he has tasted the pain of going to The Hague. So he decided to overrule Rigathi Gachagua to allow Raila's meeting. The advisors to the president and the deputy president knew very well that they were going to get into Raila's trap. Because when Raila says that they have the freedom of picketing and demonstrations, and you don't want them to attend this meeting, then Raila was going to be right. Because Raila has always said that the government is afraid. They don't want the people to listen to Raila, because Raila is speaking of touchy issues like lowering the cost of living, that was the core of Ruto's campaign in the last elections. And so Raila was going to tell the people that, you see, the government knows very well that we are asking it to lower down the prices of the basic commodities. The government knows very well that we are talking about electoral justice. The government knows very well that I want them to open the server, but they're afraid. And so they knew very well that they will be getting into Raila's server. Even with the diplomats, Raila had said that William Ruto is interfering with his meetings, that William Ruto is charging the police to interfere with innocent demonstrations and innocent mass action. This was just a town hall meeting. People were very peaceful. They knew that if they tried anything, then Raila would prove them wrong. And so they decided not to wake a sleeping dog, because they knew very well that ICC is watching, diplomats are watching, and it would be very difficult to explain to the ICC why you don't want Raila to go on with the demonstrations, which is something that William Ruto took oath of office to defend the Kenyan constitution. So with all this, ladies and gentlemen, it is obvious that William Ruto overruled his deputy, because the deputy never wanted to allow these meetings to take place, and they will continue to take place. What I don't know is whether there is going to be anything tangible from the bipartisan talks, and I don't know what to think, but this is my take.